Let's begin by telling you that various sectors of Nigeria's economy is about to receive a boost of 2 trillion naira funding as President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council as another strategy to revitalize the country's economy. State House correspondent Musbao Wahab reports that government's economic commitment and task of the new council.
Nigeria, in dire need of homegrown solutions for local challenges. Likely successful Nigerian entrepreneurs, established economists, and other relevant players got a new core for another critical national assignment to help the nation's economy.
It's Nigeria that is calling, not Bola Tinubu.
An experienced man himself, now at the helm of affairs, recognizes the importance of the private sector to shore up the largest economy in Africa. The administration in July 2023 declared state of emergency on food security, but there are still fundamental hurdles to scale toward achieving food sufficiency and a greater economy. Abysmally low power generation, insecurity, dwindling revenue are topmost in the identified challenges which the federal government is directing efforts at for social and economic development.
We must increase our oil production to 2 million barrels per day within the next few months. Remove all barriers for entry investment into the sector to enhance competitiveness. And we must increase our staple crops by smallholder farmers. We are going to improve on mechanization. We've identified part of the infrastructural development to be within the reach.
The government believes the infrastructural rejuvenation drive, including the rail and highways coming up across the country, would provide the necessary basis for the economic building blocks in the works.
And the administration aims to systematically address the root causes of food insecurity.
The massive boost coming from the government is a 2 trillion naira package to fund health and social welfare, agriculture and food security, energy and power, and general business support, among others.
This plan is a means of trying to stabilize the economy and get business growing again.
This is a government of dialogue with the private sector.
And now, the Presidential Economic Coordination Council is coming to play some roles.
I look forward to us creating more jobs for our people.
Start meeting immediately, and I can assure you, you'll see a lot of changes coming up.
And from here, recommendations are expected from the monthly meetings of the Council for short and long-term implementations. From the State House, Musbao Wahab, NTA News.
Now, the federal government is putting more measures in place to stem the rapid spread of cholera epidemic by tackling the root causes, restating the commitment of the Tinubu administration to end open defecation by 2025. Vice President Kashim Shettima made the commitment while inaugurating the steering committee for the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet campaign at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrila reports.
Ending open defecation can be achieved by mobilizing strategic stakeholders like these and leveraging technology as well as deploying innovative and sustainable solutions to boost the nation's sanitation landscape. Vice President Kashim Shettima said recently reported cases of cholera in the country should serve as sufficient motivation for the committee to work harder, just as he directed members of the committee to craft solutions to handle wastewater management, contaminated water sources, and open defecation across the country.
Your commitment and recognition of the issues at hand are critical. Together we can solve them. But most importantly, where there is the will, there is the way. We will engage the subnationals for us to have a buy-in from them, because they own the people, they own the lands. There's very little we can accomplish without buy-in from states and local government areas.
The Federal Executive Council at its last meeting also commissioned a cabinet committee to deal with the issue.
To Nigerians, we alerted Nigerians of the importance of the early warning that we earlier gave in April this year, that the subnationals, that is the state government and the local governments, should also key in and they should abide by the warnings given.
Get healthy. There are diseases that can be prevented through sanitation and hygiene. And it's a multi-sectoral effort. It's not one sector. The president's approach is whole of government. And he's got a team, all of us working hand in hand, trying to advance the agenda.
As Minister of Environment, the aspect of improving sanitation, improving environmental stewardship, improving awareness, improving responsible management of our wastes is key to ensuring that we have good public health.
The meeting, which is the fifth since the flag-off of the Clean Nigeria campaign in 2019, provides a forum to review the progress achieved so far in the country. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The federal government has redoubled efforts in strengthening and improving Nigeria's human capital with special focus on healthcare, education and the labor force. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, stated this at the Strategy Validation and Stakeholders Engagement Workshop in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This is a program with very long-term results framework.
This is not just a platform for validation, but a space for collaboration, learning and growth, as achieving the objectives of human capital development programs through improved access to quality education, enhancing healthcare services, and providing skills training and employment opportunities cannot be done in isolation.
It's a workshop that is meant to appraise all the participants about what is new in the 2.0 program. And luckily we have a few focal persons that are part of the 1.0 program. So it's a learning session. What were the successes achieved in the last 8 years? What could we do to make it better? And whether we need to expand the scope of the focal areas, being health, job creation, and education.
At this engagement, strategic inputs of these stakeholders will help to shape policies that are inclusive, equitable, and sustainable, as well drive systemic change.
Yeah, so we are hoping that this will serve as that long-term strategy that will steer the country. And if you look at what we do at NEC, we're going to advocate for both the federal and state governments to prioritize it more, allocate more resources, while at the same time tabling out a guide.
And by sharing insights, best practices and innovative ideas, can identify effective pathways to achieving the set goals through creation of a comprehensive and sustainable framework for human capital development that will benefit generations to come. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
And now to solid minerals. The federal government has announced 50 to 100% increase in fees and rates of the 268 different licenses in the solid minerals sector. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, made the announcement in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Timeline for compliance is a rate.
Like a businessman that gives his product the best finishing and conducive environment for the buyers, the Solid Minerals Minister Dele Alake notes his team has upgraded the mining industry with modern technology, and it's time for the operators to pay more as they get the best.
So all of these investments have cost a lot of money, and these things have to be recouped, repaid. The only people laughing to the banks are the operators.
268 different licenses in the solid mineral sector. The previous rates too low.
In fact, I'm actually ashamed to mention what they were paying.
268 licenses, quite a number that time may not allow to highlight here, but available in the ministry's platform. as Alake gives just a tip.
But the highlights are: 1, applicants for mining lease will now pay 3 million. Now, reconnaissance permits will now attract a fee of 300,000. Exploration license will now be 600,000. Small-scale mining license will be 300,000. Quarry lease will be 600,000. And water use permit 300,000. And the license to manufacture explosives will now cost 20 million.
As the minister rises from his seat after the announcement of the new rate, so the implementation also commences. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Land Transport is lending its support in using compressed natural gas and electricity-driven rail system to reduce the high cost of transportation in the country. This was the committee's oversight visit to Idu Railway Station in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent John Yako reports.
From the ticketing section to the luggage scanning machines, control room and coaches, the managing director of the corporation conducted committee members round to assess the condition of facilities.
What about the services in the train? No, it's perfect.
At an interactive session, the managing director spoke on the challenges of vandalism and derailment of trains, which he says is being tackled through collaboration with security agents and the locals. The corporation, he further explains, is consulting on the possibility of transiting from locomotive trains to a more efficient rail system in the country.
The military, the Air Force, and the police, civil defense have been incorporated into the system, and there is a task force that we relate with on the Abuja-Kaduna train.
There must be a way that you monitor it, even remotely on your phone.
The trains are converting to CNG. I think that is a beautiful idea for me. If we can handle it, I wish we had the time to go and look at it, because we went to Qatar recently and other developed cities. They are moving to clean energy.
The committee is also expected to visit Kaduna, Lagos, and the Port Harcourt rail stations. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
The National Assembly has been asked to fast-track the process of creating a constitutional role for the traditional institution in the country. This is the consensus of speakers during an interactive session for traditional rulers and socio-cultural groups moderated by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas at the ongoing National Assembly Open Week. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Pen reports.
Loud enough, please, Majesty King Obukewo.
Interactions continue at the open week of the House of Representatives, and it is the turn of traditional rulers to bear their minds on national issues. Beyond carrying out ceremonial functions, they want constitutional rules spelled out for them.
From 1963 to 1976-79, up to the present Constitution of 1999, while suddenly we found that our role has been totally put aside.
This is the place where these laws are made. There is nothing wrong in creating a constitutional role for the traditional institutions.
There was advocacy for funding of the traditional institution and incorporating the institution into the security architecture of the country.
The issue of security should go back to local authorities. All this depends on the traditional institutions. Royal fathers, most of the times or sometimes, run to the authorities for one assistance or the other. And when you are not financially independent, you don't have much to do.
How many traditional ruler knows what is coming to the state through FAC? Therefore, traditional rulers can also nominate somebody to represent them at FAC level.
The solution as to who
or where the traditional institution will be cannot be answered adequately by us without them also giving their own inputs.
While there are concerns about the class of monarchs to be assigned constitutional roles, the panelists believe the ball is in the court of the National Assembly to do the needful. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And now the ECOWAS Parliament has stepped down the draft decision on the establishment of a special tribunal for the Gambia and the adoption of the statute of the tribunal following the joint committee meeting in the interests of regional peace. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Proposes that this should be done without the involvement of ECOWAS.
Mixed reactions trailed the referral by the ECOWAS Commission as requested by the Gambian government to cooperate with ECOWAS in setting up the International Tribunal. The tribunal is to deal with human rights violations and abuses committed on the Gambian territory between July 22, 1994 and January 21, 2017.
I want to beg Madam Speaker and respected colleagues that we should discard the request for the ECOWAS Commission and do the right thing, and the right thing is to allow Gambia, if they want to do whatever they want to do and want to do that in line with the law.
The rules, this is just to create problems for ECOWAS. We have not finished issues with Mali, the same with Burkina Faso, and we wanted to create another hotspot in the Gambia.
I want to ask a question. How far have you gone with the sensitization? How far? We want to know the sensitization. We want to know the roar of the people in Gambia. We want to know the voice of the voiceless in Gambia. Then we'll be there to hear, we'll be there to say, it's just like when somebody is beating a child in a room and the child is crying there. If the child does not put the voice that, oh, mommy, come and help me, who will go there?
Speaker Memunatu Ibrahim appreciated contributions of members resolving to step down the decision of establishing the special tribunal. The ECOWAS Parliament has adjourned to July 6, 2024. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Let's now take a break. Panorama continues shortly.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
You're still watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. On 28 June 2024, Nigeria signed the Samoa Agreement at the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States Secretariat in Brussels, Belgium. The agreement is between the EU and its member state as well as members of the OACPS. A statement by Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris indicates that negotiations on the agreement started in 2018 on the sidelines of the 73rd United Nations General Assembly signed in Apia, Samoa on the 15th of November 2018 by all 27 EU member states and 47 of the 79 OACPS member states. The agreement has 103 articles comprising common foundational compact and 3 regional protocols, namely Africa EU, Caribbean EU, and Pacific EU regional protocols, with each regional protocol addressing the peculiar issues of the regions. The African Regional Protocol consists of the framework for cooperation, areas of cooperation containing inclusive and sustainable economic growth and development, human and social development, environment, natural resources management, climate change, peace and security, human rights, democracy and governance, as well as migration and mobility. This was after extensive reviews and consultations by the Interministerial Committee convened by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Federal Ministry of Justice. It was ensured that none of the 103 articles and provisions of the agreement contravenes the 1999 Constitution as amended and other extant laws. In addition, Nigeria's endorsement was accompanied by a statement of declaration dated 26 June 2024, clarifying its understanding and context of the agreement within its jurisdiction to the effect that any provision that is inconsistent with the laws of Nigeria shall be invalid. It is instructive to note that there is an existing legislation against same-sex relationship in Nigeria enacted in 2014. It is necessary to assure Nigerians that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, being a rule-based government, will not enter into any international agreement that will be detrimental to the interests of the country and its citizens. The Samoa Agreement is a vital legal framework for cooperation between the OACPS and the European Union to promote sustainable development, fight climate change and its effects, generate investment opportunities, and foster collaboration among OACPS member states at the international stage. NTA's Director General Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembo says the largest TV network in Africa will continue to support initiatives geared towards the promotion of religious peace and harmony in the country. This was when the management received a delegation of Muslim Media Watch Group of Nigeria in Abuja on courtesy visit. Tope Labi reports.
This delegation of the Muslim Media Watch Group of Nigeria is visiting the Nigerian Television Authority to seek collaboration to assist media organizations in promoting religious peace and harmony. Leader of the group, Ibrahim Abdullahi, acknowledged NTA for ensuring a transparent and balanced reportage, including programs that encourage religious understanding and cohesion. Abdullahi, however, wants the federal government to ensure adequate funding of its media organizations to achieve optimal performance.
Our own mandate is to support the government, appeal to people to be law-abiding, and criticize government objectively and commend whatever government is doing that are good.
The Director General, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembo, represented by the Executive Director Programs, Umar Lawal Lalu, says NTA is ever committed to promoting peace and understanding through its programs and reportage.
The next thing I want to appeal to you is we should do all to promote and ensure religious harmony in Nigeria. So let us do, as a learned people, a social media organization like our own, do our best to see that we promote and inculcate the religious discipline among our followers. The NTA will continue to do what we are doing. We will continue to balance the report, and I appreciate your commendation to our DG.
At the moment, Nigeria has more than 20 newspapers, 150 radio stations, and over 120 TV stations. And the Muslim Media Watch Group of Nigeria was formed in 2006 following the need to use the power of the media to shape opinions and address alleged neglect, discrimination, and subjugation in some media organizations. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Well, let's now join Olumide Eguntola for stories trending in the sporting world.
The Nigeria's under-20 female national team